The arrival of Alessandro Del Piero in Brisbane was highly anticipated, and a big crowd turned out at Lang Park for Brisbane Roar and Sydney FC. Both had won their opening round fixtures in the A-League. Brisbane 2-1 over Wellington Phoenix and Sydney FC 2-0 over Newcastle. But for those who came to see Alessandro Del Piero razzle and dazzle again, well, he had very little influence and left the field after 30 minutes with a leg injury, went straight down the race, was substituted out of the game with Brett Emerton coming onto the field. Only 5 minutes earlier, Besart Berisha, another high-impact and energetic, excitable player for Brisbane Roar, he was injured as well, suffered a hamstring injury and was substituted out of the game early for Enrique. So all that happened before we saw a goal in the match. 36 minutes elapsed. It was 0-0 when finally the floodgates opened and Brisbane Roar went bang, bang, bang. Matt Smith doesn't score many goals, the captain. He scored just his 4th goal in his 87th A-League match to make it 1-0. A couple of minutes later, Enrique got on the end of one to make it 2-0. And in the 44th minute, Jade North, he scored just his 3rd A-League goal in his 111th match. Brisbane Roar led 3-0 at half-time. Thomas Broish added another goal in the 80th minute to finish a rout. 4-0 it finished here at Lang Park in front of 21,841. A very good performance from Brisbane Roar. Some serious questions to be asked by Frank Farina of his men. Craig Moore watched it with me. What were your thoughts, Craig?
A very positive and confident performance by Brisbane Roar. Look at your pre-season form and people say, yeah, pre-season, you know, obviously you're not at the competitive stage. Well, today really did have a true reflection of pre-season. Brisbane Roar have been fantastic all pre-season, playing great football, scoring a lot of goals. Sydney FC, on the other hand, I know they, you know, Frank Farina was saying, yeah, pre-season, doesn't matter about the results, and they got a good start against Newcastle Jets. But today, we certainly didn't see a Sydney FC team that were able to cope with the steam that Brisbane Roar had. And once Brisbane Roar got their goal, and the second and third one come really, really quick, they put the game to bed in a really, really positive fashion. 4-0 in the end. Was it a kind result for Sydney FC? Because, you know, they didn't have too many chances, and Brisbane Roar had plenty of shots on goal and certainly could have scored more goals. I think the way the game was set out, for me, I fancied Brisbane Roar, and, you know, they've gone and got the result which I thought they would get.
Matt Mackay played in the 3-0 win for the Socceroos over Canada during the week, jumped on a plane, wasn't named in the starting team, and started and played about 80 minutes of very good football tonight. It would have been excused for having tired legs and not having a big impact, but his first game back for Brisbane Roar, hasn't played since the 2011 grand final, the former captain, and he was huge tonight.
Yeah, Matty Mackay, look, he loves this club. He's had some great success and, you know, was here from day one. Loves playing in front of the Brisbane Roar fans, and, you know, just what a true soldier, Matty Mackay. He comes back, we'll touch on the travels that he's had, the minutes he's played with the national team. That's been difficult of late, and to come back, and he was always going to play. Let's be honest, he was always going to play. He was always going to play. Mike Mulvey was boxing extremely clever, I'm sure, knowing that he was going to play. But, you know, was he expected, or did I expect him to play 80 minutes? Probably not as much as that. And he looked as if he could run around for another 80 minutes. It was an incredible performance from Matty Mackay. So he must have been well rested, probably playing a lot still on adrenaline, and I'm sure over the next day or two, Matty Mackay will be getting plenty of sleep.
So next week, Melbourne Victory versus Brisbane Roar at Docklands. That'll be a ripper. Will Ange Postecoglou still be in charge of Melbourne Victory, the former Brisbane Roar coach? While for Sydney FC, they have to regroup ahead of a derby against the Western Sydney Wanderers. The big question is, though, how serious is the injury to Alessandro Del Piero, and for that matter, to Besart Berisha? Here at Lang Park tonight, in front of more than 21,000, it finished Brisbane 4, Sydney FC 0.